Morning, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. It's Monday morning. It's 10 a.m. PST. We are live right now on YouTube. We're going to talk some movie news, movie reviews, and a little bit more. Let's go ahead and take a look and make sure we got that connection with YouTube set up. Got a nice, good, healthy stream. Got the green light. So we are going to go ahead and jump into this week's brand new episode. We have got a lot to talk about. We got 2 movie reviews, some movie news dropping. We're also going to take a look at what's hitting theaters, what's on DVD and Blu-ray and certified rad. But before we do all that, let's go ahead and roll the intro, and then we'll be right back with you. So stay tuned. All right, and good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. It's Monday morning. It's 10 a.m. PST. We are live right now on YouTube, and we are going to talk some movie news, movie reviews, and a little bit more. So this week we have got a lot to talk about. Obviously, back at home, right? So we are going to jump into some movie stories that have just dropped in the news. We're also going to take a look at 2 movies that I got out to see. We're going to take a look at The Predator and A Simple Favor. And then we're going to take a look at what's hitting theaters, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theaters. And finally, my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. But before we jump into all of the good stuff for this week's show, let's go ahead and get the commercials out of the way. So make sure that you are following us on Twitter at brunanskysvlog. Make sure you're also following us on the Stardust app. Stardust is where I do the movie trailer reviews. So you're going to want to follow us there, and that is at brunanskysvlog as well. Right now, there's over 200 movie trailer reviews up. So you're going to want to go ahead and check those out. So if you're ever at the movies, you're watching them online. If you ever wondered, I wonder what Jeremy thought about that one, go ahead and check out Stardust because there's over 200 up right now. I know Mary Poppins, I saw online today, they dropped a new trailer. Haven't watched it yet. Got to check that out tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to get that up tomorrow for the trailers on Stardust. So stay tuned tomorrow for that. Hopefully it's a good trailer. I like the first initial one, right? I like the music and how it kind of all swells to a crescendo before it kind of does the Disney kind of tag off there at the end where she's standing in front of the mirror. So I like the first one. Looking forward to this next one. Hopefully it gives us a little bit more about the story. We'll have to wait and see. But hey, it looks good so far. All right. So if you have any interest in what we're going to be talking about today as far as reading it yourself, all of the news topics, everything else is down below in the description box. So just hit that little arrow, go ahead and drop it down. All the news stories are there. Everything else is going to be waiting there for you down below. If you have any interest in starting your own YouTube channel, maybe you want to do your own Twitch channel or Facebook Live or whatever type of video streaming platform you prefer. I threw some recommendations down there as far as gear is concerned to get you started. So check those out as well. And finally, it's almost fall. Summer's almost over. Thank goodness. I know a lot of people are probably bummed out. I live in an area where it's like 120 degrees, which is like 40 plus degrees Celsius. So it's super hot here. It's miserable. It's like walking through an oven almost 9 months out of the year. So the fact that summer's almost over is a good sign for us because that means the weather actually gets agreeable and we can actually go out and live life and we don't have to like open the front door and get a face full of heat that just melts us back like the end of Indiana Jones. So good stuff happening there. Also, we just had Batman Day. So I hope you guys were able to get out and enjoy that. I know I wasn't able to get out and partake in Batman Day at the local comic book shops or anything like that, but this is always my Batman, right? The gray and blue Batman, big fan of that costume design. That's what I grew up in with Adam West Batman and everything else. So my 2 recommendations, if you got out and you were like, man, there's a lot of Batman out there. There is. As far as graphic novels go, I'm going to go ahead and recommend Hush. Hush, let me get that up there. There it is. Hush. Now, the link for this is down below if you want to check it out as well. This is just a great Batman story, Batman versus the Riddler, as well as everybody else. Superman makes an appearance, Superdog makes an appearance. There is just a cavalcade of characters that make a show in this graphic novel. Definitely one of the good ones. Really like the face-off at the end between the Riddler and Batman. As always, it's a battle of wits, and it ends really strong. So dig that. Check it out if you're a Batman fan, or if you just want to jump into a new Batman comic. I'm going to go ahead and recommend Hush. Hush is the recommendation for you guys. Also, if you are a fan of history and just art design and stuff like that, this is my next recommendation for you. Whoa, hold on. There it is, Batman, A Visual History. So go ahead and check this out. This is a hardy book, right? It's got a lot of artwork in it. It goes from 1939 to 2014, all the different Batman designs, the artists, everything else. That link is down below there too. If you're a fan of art and kind of seen the transitions and everything else that Batman's gone through over the years, definitely check that book out. A lot of really great artwork in there. Frank Miller does the foreword, so it's really cool. So check it out. Both of those are really good. Those are my recommendations for Batman Day. Again, hope everybody enjoyed it. I know I've got my Batman Funko, the gray and blue. The gray and blue, people. That's my Batman. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this week's segment here for news. We're going to take a look at the weekend box office. We're going to take a look at what hit in the top 5. Also, we got a couple films that have been out that hit new records. So we're going to talk about those really quick too. Then we're going to take a look at a couple news stories, and then we'll move into the movie reviews. Like I said, I got out to the theater to see 2 films. Then we'll take a look at theaters, or what's hitting theaters this week, what's hitting DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater, and certified rats. So let's go ahead and move now into the news segment. Boom. There we go. All right. So down below, you can see the ticker tape is running. So keep your eyes on that. Those are news stories that dropped that I was like, that's interesting, but we don't really have time to dive into them on this show. So just keep your eyes peeled there. We'll go ahead and keep you updated with the news as well. So again, if you have any interest, all of these articles down below so you can follow along as we go through them on the show. All right, so coming in the top 5 for the weekend box office, and again, you heard what I saw, The Predators and A Simple Favor, The Predator and A Simple Favor. So what did you guys see? Let's take a look at the box office numbers right now. Coming in at number 5, we have Crazy Rich Asians at 8,700,000. White Boy Rick at number 4 at 8,800,000. A Simple Favor at 16,050,000. The Nun at 18,200,000, and The Predator coming in at number 1 with a low showing of $24 million. So in my review, later after the news segment, you're going to hear that The Predator had a budget of $88 million. $24 million is not looking good for this. Not looking good at all. In fact, according to Box Office Mojo, this is the worst live action film opening for a major motion picture that opened up in over 4,000 theaters. It beat The Mummy starring Tom Cruise. Now, if you want my review for that, my review is actually written for that one. So you have to go back to Brunansky's blog on WordPress. So brunanskysvlog.com on WordPress. And you can check out my written review for that. You'll have to go back there, about 3 years worth of movie reviews written. So you have to dig through the archives there on that one to check out The Mummy starring Tom Cruise. But that film was a mess. And I don't really think they knew what they wanted to deliver there. But go back, check that out, brunanskysblog.com on WordPress. You can find my written review there. More thoughts are waiting for you. But The Predator, you'll hear, I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I wanted or what I expected from The Predator. I definitely had some issues with it, which we'll detail in the review later in the show, so stay tuned for that. The Nun, I didn't see that, but that's getting high praise from all of the people who like horror movies. So job well done to everybody who's supporting that film and who enjoys that franchise and that genre. You guys are really stepping up to the plate and getting out to see it, because it did have a 60+% drop from week 1 to week 2, but you know, you kind of expect a higher number, right? Horror movies in general, especially rated R horror movies, you may see some drop off as far as box office is concerned, because it's already difficult to get people in to see R-rated movies like that anyway, with big numbers, right? So with 18,200,000, I think that's pretty good for The Nun, especially considering we're moving into the horror movie season, right, with Halloween. So still pretty cool that you guys are getting out to see it. Still impressed that it's in the top 5 with a plus 60% drop from week 1 to week 2. But hey, speaks well to the movie and everybody involved. So good job there. A Simple Favor, I enjoyed this one. I did have a couple issues with it that you'll hear later in the show as far as the tone of it was concerned, because or not the tone, the pacing of it, because of kind of how it jumps between what I think it wanted to deliver versus what it occasionally just drops in the middle of the movie for unknown reasons. So you'll hear that review later, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more after the review drops, because I found an article that was an interview with the director, and that kind of solidified my feelings on some of the issues I had. So we'll take a look at that, but still a very good movie. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. White Boy Rick, I wanted to see. That came in at number 4, and then Crazy Rich Asians still being in the number 5 spot, top 5. Really enjoyed Crazy Rich Asians a lot, actually. And you can check out my review for that film. That is up on the movie review playlist right now. Also, really quick, just wanted to mention Mission Impossible Fallout has crossed over $216 million grossing worldwide. So it is officially the highest earner in the franchise. So job well done to Mission Impossible Fallout. And then The Meg and Hotel Transylvania 3, they are now in the $500 million club. So job well done to those guys as well. Worldwide, I definitely did not see The Meg making $500 million, but you can check out my review for Mission Impossible Fallout, The Meg, and Hotel Transylvania 3. Those are all up on the movie review playlist right now. Real quick, just rounding out the top 10, let's hit it. Mission Impossible Fallout, Unbroken, Path to Redemption at number 9, Searching number 8, The Meg at number 7, and Peppermint at number 6. So great work, top 10. It's a lot of different variety. There's a lot of flavor out there for us to go check out. Definitely recommend you guys get out to the theater to see some of these films. Let me know, what did you see this weekend? Throw it in the comments section. Get that conversation started. What are you looking forward to seeing that you haven't seen that's out right now? Let us know in the comments below. First movie topic is coming to us from Deadline, but first, coffee break. Delicious. All right, first story coming to us from Deadline, and it is Salma Hayek and Alec Baldwin are teaming up to bring us the movie Drunk Parents. And this is also going to include Jim Gaffigan, Joe Manganiello, and Ben Platt. So I saw this and I was very happy, because if you follow the show or you've seen anything on social media about 30 Rock, you know that I'm a big fan of 30 Rock. And the interactions that both of those actors had together, Salma Hayek and Alec Baldwin, were just hilarious in that show. And I just loved their interactions and their back and forth. In the show, they come from very different backgrounds. They're dating for a while. It's just pure comedy, as you would expect from 30 Rock. And it was just so fun. So I'm happy to see that these two are teaming up again to work on a comedy called Drunk Parents. And it's about no release date, but they did get distribution for it, and they're aiming for the first quarter of next year. So not great, right? Because the first quarter, January, February, March, that can be considered, kind of the dumping ground for films. You get through the Oscar season, right? All of the awards movies hit in the fall. And then, moving into Christmas, you got the Christmas and family movies, as well as maybe like a Star Wars movie or something else drops. We got Aquaman coming. So you got all of these big movies that are dropping, and then the new year hits, and there's just kind of that lull where just films seem to kind of get placed that wouldn't do well, against more big hitters, more competition, right? So not too happy that this film is getting dropped in January, February, March, potentially, because that doesn't really speak well, but it could be a film that does really well, right? If the movie's really good and there's not a lot of competition, we could see this comedy making big bucks, and it could have a good long run, right? It could have some legs. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to wait for that first trailer. I like the casting. I really like the on-screen chemistry between Salma Hayek and Alec Baldwin. Again, go back and watch their episodes of 30 Rock where they share screen time. Just priceless comedy. So definitely looking forward to this. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. All right, next story coming to us from Variety, and this is AMC subscription service teams up with Fandango and Atom Tickets. So if you aren't aware, right, on this show, we've talked a lot about MoviePass. As a MoviePass user, I recently canceled the subscription because of their latest change. 3 movies a month doesn't work for this channel, right? I got to get out to see at least 1 movie a week to put up on this channel for you guys. So if MoviePass is only going to give me a subscription service that allows me to see 3 movies a month, that does not work. So had to cancel that subscription, and then I signed up with AMC A-List. So AMC A-List is now who I'm with, and that is 3 movies a week, right? So it's a monthly subscription service. It's 3 movies a week. And it's all the theaters. It's IMAX, it's Dolby Digital, it's 3D. So it doesn't really matter, right? MoviePass was just the regular theaters, no specialty theaters. AMC A-List is whatever theater you want, right? If the movie's playing at an AMC theater, you can check it out. So now they've teamed up with Fandango and Atom Tickets. So if you've got your membership number for A-List, maybe you don't have the AMC app. Maybe you use the Fandango app, right? Or you just hop online, you're at your work, you type it up on your computer, right? You got to order some tickets. You just throw your membership number in there and you can just use your A-List membership to reserve those tickets through your monthly subscription. I think that's pretty rad. I think that's pretty rad because it opens up the door for options for their members, which is always nice, right? That's always nice. So you're not just stuck to having to use the AMC app, because what if the app goes down, right? Star Wars has a big release, maybe the app crashes because too many people are trying to use it to order their tickets, or, you know, the next Avengers 4 comes out, the app crashes. Well, what do? Well, you've got Fandango or Atom Tickets you can also use your membership through. So I think that's pretty rad. I think it's smart business, and it gives us options, which is always nice. So pretty cool there. So far, I've seen 2 films with my AMC A-List, and that was The Predator and A Simple Favor. Really, really easy process, just like you would before, plus my membership points for AMC. That all like works together. So it's a really, really nice system that they've set up, which is good. So check it out. I'm enjoying it so far. I've only had it for about a week, and it seems to be working fine. No complaints thus far. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Are you an AMC A-List subscriber? What has been your experience so far? Let us know in the comments section below. Last news story of the day is coming to us from Hollywood Reporter, and MasterCard's Michael Froman is joining the Disney board. Now, Froman was an assistant to President Barack Obama before he was hired as vice chairman and president of strategic growth for MasterCard. So he actually worked with, in the article here, it says the U.S. Trade Representative for 2013 to 2017. And one of his specialties that he dealt with he is a lawyer, but one of his specialties that he dealt with was intellectual property theft. So if he's doing strategic planning and strategic growth, I think that fits right into what we've talked about on this show, right? Now, we got to be careful because obviously Disney's not going to hire someone of that level just for like, well, maybe they would, I don't know. But we wouldn't assume that just they'd only have a singular focus, right? We imagine it would be broad scope, everything Disney, right? Everything that they're going to be merging with Fox. How are they going to make it all work? If they can make it work. You'll see in the ticker tape below, there's a listing there for the European Union has got their deal set up for when they need the courts to approve the Fox Disney merger as well, right? Because sometimes here in the States, we singular focus, right? We look at, okay, when is the U.S. government going to approve this agreement, right? So that Disney can buy Fox. Well, you know, Disney's bigger than that, right? They're in Europe, they're in Asia, they're all over the place. So the European government has to approve it as well. So they've got a deadline now set for that. So we got this gentleman here coming in, Michael Froman is joining Disney board to kind of help what it looks like is help kind of navigate everything once we're all set up and Disney can move forward with the Fox plans, with the streaming service, with whatever else they have planned that we don't even know about yet. But I like it that he also had some dealings with intellectual property, to get back to that. Because, you know, Disney's really, really tight. They run a really tight ship when it comes to their IP and making sure that, you know, the Disney brand and the Disney image is only used for what they want. Similar to George Lucas and how he's very tight on what is allowed and what is not allowed for Star Wars properties, etc. So I think that's pretty interesting that they brought this guy in who's got this experience on a global scale for IP stuff, making sure that everything is okay, making sure that there's no funny business going on with their IP, making sure the Mouse House, making sure Mickey Mouse stays where he's supposed to and he's not out gallivanting around like a crazy person, right? So I think it's pretty cool. I'm curious to see like what he does, if he does anything as far as the streaming service goes, because once the Fox merger, once that gets approved, right, we're leading with the assumption that this is going to be approved. So once that gets approved, then now we've got all the Fox properties coming over that Disney can add to the streaming service. So all the Fox movies, more than just X-Men and Fantastic Four, all of the Fox movies, those can now be streamed potentially on the Disney streaming service, or it could have its own separate like channel on the streaming service for Fox movies, right? We'll have to wait and see. But I think it's interesting that they're bringing a guy of this caliber on board who already has experience dealing with intellectual property theft. So I like that. It gives me a little bit more confidence as far as strategic growth goes that, again, once this launches, it's going to launch right on track. It's going to be a heavy hitter. It's going to be a strong competitor. And us as fans of Disney are going to get a lot of great content that we've been waiting for and that we've been hungry for. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below about this gentleman coming on board for Disney as part of the strategic growth. Vice chairman and president of strategic growth, actually. So let us know in the comments below. And that is going to wrap it up for us on the news this week. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. But we're going to go ahead and move now into the movie review section. And again, that is The Predator as well as A Simple Favor. And then right after those are over, don't go anywhere, because we're going to be right back. We're going to take a look at what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and let's roll those movie reviews. For over 3 decades, we are constantly coming back to enjoy stories about the greatest hunters across the cosmos. They are constantly evolving. They are constantly upgrading. However, this time, they're hunting one of their own. Go ahead and cue the shock and awe sound effects. Thank you. Okay, so does The Predator deliver on the mythos and terror of the greatest hunters in space, or will we now rethink the quality of the Alien vs. Predator films? Let's talk about it in this review. The plot of this film is pretty simple. It's a predator is being chased by another predator through space for unknown reasons. And then there's the story about the Army veteran who's trying to prove he's not crazy while also trying to save his son's life. His son turns out to be a genius that the predators eventually want, but with the help of Olivia Munn's character, they don't actually get to keep the kid. And then there's the predator dogs. Wow, right? Yeah, this movie is all over the place. There's so much happening in this film. It doesn't really make that much sense at all. And we don't even find out the real reason that one of the predators escaped and is being hunted until the absolute very end of the film, after both the predators are defeated. Yeah, it's a mess. The very last scene of this movie is the answer to the why that the predators were actually battling each other and using space alien predator dogs. Such a mess. The opening scene that starts the movie wasn't that good either. The CGI was noticeably bad. For a movie about aliens that travel through space hunting and killing, with a budget of approximately $88 million, I thought the attention to special effects would be way more important. The very first scene of this movie set my expectation for the film very low. Now I'm happy to report that not everything in this film was terrible. I did enjoy some moments of this film. However, that could simply be due to the fact that after that initial scene of the space battle / escape, my expectations were on the floor. And the dialogue isn't great either. Now for a film that deals with hunters from space, I can let some cheesy dialogue slide. In fact, I may be even expecting some cheesy dialogue. This is not Shakespeare. I get it. I am not here for wildly impressive dialogue that really examines what does it mean to be alive and chased by a super rad space monster. I want aliens. I want explosions. I want super cool new alien weaponry, etc. Cheesy dialogue, not a problem. If you're a drinker, and if you still enjoy drinking games, and if you're at a theater that serves alcohol, here's a fun drinking game for you during this movie. Every time someone drops an F-bomb, you take a drink. By the time the theater lights turn back on, you'll be blacked out. CGI and dialogue were clearly not the priority here, people. Not at all. This film felt like 2.5 stories running at the same time. There's Predator versus Predator. There's the military veterans trying to stay alive and also battle this covert government agency who's also battling the Predators. And then there's whatever's happening with Olivia Munn's character. That's kind of what feels like the half in the 2.5 stories for this film. I'm gonna say this right now, go ahead and write it down, take it to the bank. Olivia Munn is well on her way to being an action movie leading lady if she so chooses. I enjoyed her performance in this movie, even though again it felt like the half of the 2.5 stories, because she kind of mixes and mingles her way through the entire story and all the different groups pretty well. And I'm not gonna blame any of the issues in this movie on her performance whatsoever. The Predator is playing at your local movie theater right now, and if you are not a die-hard fan of the Predator franchise, you can skip this movie entirely. If you are a die-hard fan and you want to see what cool new things that Shane Black and team came up with and created for the new Predators, maybe check it out once it's available on DVD and Redbox. I enjoyed the new Predator, I enjoyed the new Predator abilities, what the new Predator has, what his armor, his weapons, etc. I enjoyed all of that. I did not, however, enjoy the comedic moments that the Predators give us, or the Predator dogs. Shameful. And because of that, the Predator is getting 0 high fives from this guy. The Predator is playing at your local movie theater right now. Maybe go rewatch the original from 1987 instead. Fashion. Martinis. Intrigue. Nope, this isn't James Bond. It's a suburban mystery that borders on thriller while also exploring modern living. So, does a simple favor deliver on the mind-bending, thought-provoking story hinted at in the trailers? Or is the friend who needs a simple favor really just a pest? Let's talk about it in this review. Paul Feig steps back into the director's chair, but this time it is for a psychological thriller meets murder mystery. His comedic style is still present throughout this story, and this time its darker tones actually match the intensity of the moments happening on screen sometimes. I appreciate how the tone of this film stays mostly consistent from beginning to end. This really helps us deep dive into this believable world of murder, sex, lies, and madness. And while all of this is going on, everybody looks great while they're doing it. That's right, I'm talking about style and fashion. And I'm not talking about just the clothes the actors were wearing for these parts, but also the way the house is decorated, plus the music. It really helped make this world feel three-dimensional and believable. And this world is created right at the very beginning of the film with the credits sequence. I was hooked immediately during this part because, again, style. I also really enjoyed the moments between Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. It's cold, calculated, and cool meets the complete opposite. They strike a really nice balance of personalities that pays off by the end of the film. And the other actors in this movie do a nice job of complementing the scenes as the story progresses. It could be something as simple as just a line of dialogue that furthers the murder mystery plot. Or it could have been just a joke to provide some levity during an intense and highly emotional moment. For the most part, it all worked. For the most part. However, sometimes there were some jokes that really pulled this film out of that intense psychological thriller because certain scenes literally felt like they were stolen from another movie that was actually a comedy. But again, for the most part, the tone stays mostly consistent from beginning to end. The pacing of the story really takes a while to get going, so we get to the detective part of the story. And the runtime comes in at just under 2 hours, and I feel like if we kind of cut and trim some scenes down, we could have had a really impactful movie, psychological thriller, that clocks in around 90 minutes or just a little bit longer. For example, some of the scenes I think we could trim or cut down. Early in the film, when we have the parents and the teachers all kind of in the classroom going back and forth about different school stuff, we can really trim those scenes down or even possibly remove 1 or 2 of them to kind of help tighten things up. Also, when Anna Kendrick's character is off playing detective and she's trying to escape from the house, there's a scene at the end of that moment where the guy stops her and says he wants to order a blue suit. You can cut that whole thing out. Just let her drive off in hysterics, cut the joke, keep the momentum. So trimming scenes or cutting scenes out like I just mentioned would have definitely helped tighten things up made the pacing more consistent, and for me personally would have elevated my enjoyment of the film just a little bit more. In short, the pacing of this film makes the movie feel longer than 2 hours for me personally, but I did enjoy all the twists and turns the story takes. And there are quite a few twists and turns, so get ready. A Simple Favor is playing at your local movie theater right now, and if you enjoy mind-bending psychological thrillers that turn into murder mysteries, you'll probably enjoy this film. I really enjoyed the layers this film has and the transformative performance that Anna Kendrick gives, from who her character is at the beginning of the film to who she ends up being by the end of the film. It looks great, it sounds great, it keeps you guessing, but unfortunately, it felt longer than 2 hours for me. So because of that, A Simple Favor is getting only one high five from this guy. A Simple Favor is playing at your local movie theater right now. Check it out. All right, and we are back. Before we jump into what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and Certified Rad, we're going to take a quick second. And again, I'm going to recommend you check out the description box below for all the articles, because The Hollywood Reporter did an interview with Paul Feig on how he tried to revive a Hitchcockian thriller. So it's a pretty good article. It's a pretty good interview. I found it this morning, and I was reading over it before everything got started for the show as part of my show prep. And it's actually a pretty good interview. And surprisingly, my issues with the film kind of were cemented after I read this. Because as you just heard, my issues were the comedy, some of the comedy scenes felt like they were from a comedy movie and they didn't really fit this film. And when I'm reading this article and he's talking about how he wanted to, like, what his vision was for the comedy and the actors, and what he was trying to achieve with a Hitchcockian vibe, which I'm down with, because if you're a regular watcher of this show, you know I love my Alfred Hitchcock movies and TV shows. That's what I was raised on, the Alfred Hitchcock show. So, Nick at Night, baby, black and whites. So I was really like, okay, cool. I can see where he was going with that, especially towards the end when we get one twist after another, after another. It's just like this winding labyrinth towards the very end of the film until, boom, the finale, right? And I really, really like that about the movie. But these scenes where it's like, this is his style of comedy that we're used to, like, it was really obvious and it just like pulled me out of the moment. So check out the article. It really kind of cemented my feelings about what I thought the issues were, because I could see what he was going for. And then I was like, man, if we would have pulled some of that out, I think he would have achieved more of what he was hoping to achieve. But then again, he may think that he achieved exactly what he wanted, and that's cool for him because he's the guy that made the movie. But as far as my opinion goes, I think if we would have pulled some of the stuff that we talked about in that review out, I think that would have helped deliver more in line of what he was hoping to achieve based on that interview. So check it out. All right, we are going to jump now into what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. So here we go. In theaters this week, we have The House with a Clock in Its Walls, The Sisters, Brothers, and Life Itself. Now, out of these three films, I'm looking forward to all three of these films. The House with a Clock in Its Walls looks like it is going to be a fun kind of family magic mystery adventure. I've liked the trailers. I like how the interactions between the three leads have all looked in the trailers. So I'm looking forward to this. It looks like it's going to be a fun little magic movie gearing up for Halloween season. The Sisters Brothers, I've only seen one trailer for it. I love the trailer. You can check out my review for that again on Stardust. It looks really strong. It looks like it's going to be a really good Western. So I'm excited about that. If you're a follower of the show, you know I love a good Western. And finally, Life Itself. I'm really not sure what to expect from Life Itself because the trailers really haven't given me a whole lot of info. It's just been kind of teasing me with info, but the actors in it are all really good, so I'm curious to see kind of what the story is going to be once it unfolds. All right, so let's take a look at DVD and Blu-ray this week. We have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Damsel, Farenheit 451, and The Billionaire Boys Club. Out of these four films, I have seen and reviewed Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. That review is up on the channel right now in the movie review playlist. Damsel looked interesting. It kind of has like this weird Coen Brothers-esque vibe to it, as far as the trailers led me to believe. I'm curious if I'm actually going to check this out on Redbox or not. Farenheit 451, a book I read in high school, a very good book. I also enjoyed kind of what they're going for in the trailers, but it didn't really sell me too much on this film, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then Billionaire Boys Club, I'm not familiar with at all. I think this was the film that came out right around the time of the Kevin Spacey incidents, and so it just kind of got pushed out, and everybody kind of forgot about it. So not really sure I'll see that one either, but Damsel, I am looking forward to. Hopefully I can get around to checking that out. But otherwise, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, definitely check it out now that it's available on DVD or Blu-ray. So let's go ahead and move now into the last segment of the show, and that is Certified Rad. So if you're new to the show, if this is your first time watching, thank you so much. Certified Rad is just something I find, something someone sends me. It could be a book. It could be a tech gear review. It could be, people helping people. It could just be just a cool moment in time, right? Doesn't matter what it is. If I get it from somebody, if I find it, if I look it over and I say, yeah, this is definitely rad, we're going to certify it rad right here on this show every week. So this week for Certified Rad, we have got some craziness happening here in the States along the Carolina borders for the coastline. So we got that big Hurricane Florence hitting. This is not the first time we've talked about a hurricane on this show. We had the other one down in Texas that happened that we talked about for a little while. Now we got the one hitting the Carolinas. Crazy weather going mad on the coastline for the Gulf and the East Coast. Pretty scary stuff. If you're living in that area, please be safe. And most importantly, take your pets. Take your pets. If you're evacuating, take your pets. Don't be that person that leaves their pets behind. Don't be that person. So this story is about those people. This is who we are talking about. People who left their pets behind, and the gentleman who pulled himself up, grabbed his school bus, and started making runs to save the abandoned pets that are just getting hit with all this flood water. So great stuff that this gentleman is doing. His school bus has been dubbed Noah's Ark. Now, if you want to read the article, you can check it out down below. It's coming to us from the Washington Post. And this guy is driving the coast from southern Alabama all the way up through South Carolina, and he is in a school bus, and his name is Tony Alsop. So Tony Alsop is 51 years old. He's a trucker from Greenback, Tennessee. So thank you so much to Tony Alsop, real hero right here. He has been driving this school bus. He goes up, he picks up these pets that are in these shelters that were abandoned, and he drives them to safe shelters where they can be adopted to make sure that they do not get stuck in all of the flood water that's happening from Hurricane Florence. He's dropping them off at emergency animal rescue shelters. Again, they've named his bus Noah's Ark. And so far, he's rescued 53 dogs and 11 cats from South Carolina shelters that were in the path of Hurricane Florence. So in the article, he's got some photos up that you can check out that actually show like what the inside of his bus looks like with all of these pets in cages, like in their little travel cages, right? Their little kennels stacked on top of each other in the bus as he's trying to get them to safety. And it's just it's a really cool story about one guy who's like, look, I can do something. I've got a giant bus that I can fit a whole bunch of animals in, and we're going to put these animals in this bus and get them to safety. So when you can see an opportunity like that to step up, put yourself into harm's way of a hurricane, right? Because he's stepping up against a hurricane, Mother Nature. He's stepping up and he is driving this bus into South Carolina, into the floodwaters, trying to get these animals out, when he's risking his life to make sure that these pets are safe. And then he is shipping them off to other shelters for adoption so they don't get left behind. You can guarantee that that type of service to the community and to these pets is most definitely certified rad. So check that article out. Again, it's coming to us from the Washington Post. A lot of cool photos in it. Definitely worth your time. And that wraps up this week's brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here for another week. Also want to recommend that you guys hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Click the thumbs up so you can get the notifications once new content drops on this channel. And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Stardust at Brunansky's Vlog. Again, check the links down below if you're interested in any of the Batman stories I recommended, or if you want to start your own live streaming or your own YouTube channel. There's a lot of great gear down there to get started, right? This is just getting started gear I think you guys might benefit from. So check it out. We will see you guys next Monday right here on YouTube at 10 a.m. PST with the brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. Hope you're able to get out to the theaters to see some movies. There's a lot out right now, and as you just heard, there's a couple good films coming out as well. So hopefully you're able to set time aside to get out to the movies. Hope everybody is ready for summer to end. I know I am. I'm ready for cooler weather. We will see you guys next Monday right here on YouTube at 10 a.m. PST. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. This is Brunansky's Vlog. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, and until next time, good night.